Bilingual education, a new angle. It is time now, at the foot of the 21st century, to reimagine and rethink about bilingual education and what do we actually mean by it. And then an even bigger question is, does our construct of bilingual education compete well with the challenges of the 21st century, or do we need to look at it a little differently? Now, when we talk about the 21st century, the question might cross your mind regarding what is different about the 21st century. Isn't it a future and that we anticipate always, like we always plan our education? But the thing is, we really need to think about how our lives have changed, not across the generations, but within a generation. So think about the changes, think about the pace of changes or the rapid change that we undergo every day because of the change in technologies, innovation, technology, mass production, conflicts, migration, changing environmental issues. Think about there's so many different ways in which the children learn now. Think about the social media. When did we have this social media before? Think about the changing workplace environment. How is that rapidly changing? If we don't have access to internet, any one day, either in our universities or in our workplace, it seems as if nothing can be done. Think about when was it the last time you stepped in the library? And think about how many of our articles do we find on the internet. Think about the explosion of information. Think how you interact with your friends and family now. Think about your mobiles and think about how even the way and at the stage and how early are the children exposed to all this. Were we ever exposed to all these changes at that pace before? Never. So this change, this rapid pace of change of the 21st century is unprecedented. And that means that by the time we reach there and try to give our learners certain skills, by the time they grow up, they are already obsolete. And there is another new set of skills that our learners need. So the communication that our learners need now and that actually is happening, whether we prepare our learners or not, is very complex. It is multimodal. Multimodal means it happens simultaneously through different mediums. Now think of, for instance, something as simple as an SMS message. So how many times do you use those emoticons? So many different types of emoticons. And what does it do to your information? And how do you come to this negotiated meaning of what each emoticon actually means? All these different things are very, very different, and believe it or not, they are related to bilingualism and bilingual education because these are definitely cultural specific. So your bilingual education, it means, should also reflect this kind of complexity. So that our learners are able to adapt to the shifting situations or the changing scenarios and respond to them quickly. Now, what happens in bilingual education, wherever bilingual education is often offered, is that what they do is that they offer some subjects in one language and the other subjects in the other language. Now, this means we are offering them different subjects in different languages, in full different languages in isolation. but this is not the kind of complexity that they face in their real life, where communication is polydirectional. Simultaneously, you're making use of different languages. You are not talking to those people who are close to you, but also people who might be very, very far. So we need to vary our bilingual practices in education so that we are able to give our learners a sense of pride in their identities rather than a certain shame in their identities because of a language, a prestige language that they might not know. And yet they take pride in their own communal languages so as to maintain their own relationships. So we need to accept children as non-static, homogeneous language users. So simultaneously, they are making use of different languages, as you would notice they do when they are playing in the playgrounds. And these varied practices enable them to transform their identities and to sort of play out different kinds of identities, not in the playground, but also in the schools. Now, it is important to use this concept of integrated language. Now, if we use English and Urdu, for instance, or Urdu and a regional language outside the school, then the school needs to legitimize that integrated use of language, because this is what going to happen once the child actually graduates from language. So this is a new concept of accepting bilingualism in a different way and of legitimizing the practices that actually happen. And this has implications for curriculum, for the way you teach, that is pedagogy, and how we assess our students, that is evaluation or exams. And all this is based on a complex understanding of what bilingualism is and how complex bilingual education actually needs to be.